Hello everyone! In this video I'm gonna show you the very basics of music theory so that even if you're not a musician, you can create a simple arrangement. Let's begin with music scales. As you probably know, a music scale is a sequence of usually 8 notes that begin with a note and end with the same note, but an octave higher. A very common example is the C major scale. First, let's find the C on the keyboard. C is the key that is right before two black keys. So you have a group of 2 black keys, here, and you have a group of 3 black keys, here. The C will be right before the group of 2 black keys on the piano, right here. This is the first note of the C major scale. The second one is D, then E, then F, then G, then A, then B, and then C again, and it repeats. As you noticed, if you only use the white keys of the piano in sequence, beginning with the note C, you will end up with the C major scale. Now, if you combine notes that belong to this scale, you will have chords. The most common type of chord is a triad, which is comprised of 3 notes being played at the same time. There are several triads that you can play using the notes that belong to the C scale. For example, if you play C, skip the next note and play the next one, which is E. Skip the next one and play the following, which is G. You have the C major chord. If you do the same but starting with D, you will have the D minor chord. Don't worry too much about what minor and major mean at this point. So D minor would be D, I skip the E, I play F, I skip the G, I play A. There you go. So you can have a triad beginning with C, a triad beginning with D, with E, with F, with G, with A, with B, and then with C again. These chords will comprise what is called the harmonic field of C major. That is, all the chords that can be generated using the notes from the C major scale. And by using triads in a pattern, you will have what is called a chord progression. For example, I can have a chord progression that just alternates the triads beginning with C and D. And this could comprise my verse, for example, if I'm writing a song. So let's try that with the rhythm pattern. So this could be the chord progression for my verse. Then for the chorus, I can have a more complex chord progression, comprised maybe of C, D, A, and G. So again, C, D, A, and G. Let's try it with the rhythm pattern. I would really recommend, especially if you're new to this, to develop a chord progression that repeats itself every 2 or 4 bars, just like what we just heard. This is usually how most pop songs are, Repetition is important in this case, repetition and consistency. Anyway, experiment with different chords, create a chord progression, and see what works. You can also try a minor chord progression. If we use the same notes that we used for the previous scale, but begin with A instead, so here A, we would have what is called an A minor scale. So we're going to use the same notes that we used for the C major scale, but we're going to go from A to A instead of C to C. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Usually, minor scales can sound a bit more somber. In the key of A minor, you can have the following triads: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now, just like before, if I choose a sequence of chords that go around A and often resolve or finish with the A chord, I will have a chord progression in the A minor key. So that could be for the verse, for example, A, G, A, such as So let's try it with the rhythm pattern. And then for the chorus, I can have a different chord progression. Maybe A, F, D, and then G. And then again, A, F, D, G. This chord progression is very famous, by the way. So let's try it on the chorus. And that's it. Those are some chord progression ideas in both the C major and in the A minor keys. Now that we have a chord progression, let's add a melody. One of the things that can help a lot, especially if you don't have a lot of experience writing melodies, is to keep it simple. When you are coming up with a melody, try to sing or whistle along. If you can't, that's probably because the melody is too complex. Try to use adjacent notes and also remember to repeat some notes every once in a while. So for example, if your notes are too far apart, let's say da, da, dee, dee. That melody is too complex, it's hard to sing because the notes are too far apart. Now a melody such as this. Right, so da 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 dee, da 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 da. That melody is easy to sing, and if you add lyrics to it, it could as well become a song. Oftentimes, the melodies are going to include notes that are being used on the chords. So, for example, if you're playing the chord of A minor, the melody will likely, at some point, be comprised of A, E, or C, the notes that comprise the chord. So, That's an example. Let's try it on the chorus. So that's an example of a melody that includes notes that belong to the chords, but also other notes that just belong to the scale. Remember to keep it simple. So I hope this is helpful. Have fun composing your songs, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.